When we look at a map of a conflict, we see arrows and lines, divisions and objectives. But those lines are not just tactical markers. They are the stitches that hold the fabric of a nation together, or the blades that tear it apart. Welcome to the lesson on "The military leader is the master of people's fate." This is the final, sobering truth of the scroll of preparation. It reminds us that a commander does not merely command soldiers. They command the future of the shopkeeper in the capital, the farmer in the province, and the children in the classroom. In the tempo calculation, a military failure is never just a loss on the field. It is a national catastrophe. Sun Tzu understood that the earth and the state are inextricably linked. If a leader adopts a strategy of reckless attrition, they aren't just spending the lives of their troops. They are spending the wealth, the infrastructure, and the very spirit of their country. This is why Sun Tzu emphasizes swift victory. A lengthy campaign is a slow poison. It drains the treasury, exhausts the citizenry, and leaves the nation vulnerable to internal dissension. A military leader must be aware that their decisions ripple out to hundreds of miles beyond the battlefield, affecting the price of bread, the stability of the currency, and the sovereignty of the borders. As we survey the landscape of the Russia-Ukraine war in April 2026, the weight of this lesson is visible in every decision made in Kiev and Moscow. Take the strategy of preservation. For Ukraine, the military leadership is a literal arbiter of national survival. Every defense strategy in 2026, whether it's the high-tech drone logistics skill or the fortification in the deep rear, is designed to prevent a national failure. By prioritizing the protection of the energy grid and the export routes, the leadership ensures that the moral law remains intact even as the war drags on. They are fighting for a swift victory, not just to end the fighting, but to save the state from an economic collapse. Take the cost of the long game. Conversely, we see the master of fate at work in the Russian strategic pivot. By April 2026, the Kremlin's decision to transition to a total war economy has radically altered the fate of the Russian population. With over 6% of GDP directed to the military and hundreds of thousands of workers removed from the civilian labor force, the exactions on the home populations are heavy. The military strategy has decided the fate of the Russian middle class for a generation, proving that a leader's choice at the front dictates the quality of life in the furthest reaches of the hinterland. Here is your war tip. Be aware that your military decisions affect areas far beyond the battlefield. Every time you commit to an objective, ask yourself, what is the cost to the state? If victory is slow and expensive, it may be no victory at all. Always plan for the swiftest victory possible to minimize the trauma to your people and ensure the nation you are defending is still standing when the smoke clears. A commander who wins the war but ruins the country has failed in their ultimate duty. We have reached the summit of our study with this lesson. The military leader is master of people's fate. In the grand tempo calculation, this is the most sobering realization a leader can face. It is an understanding that the battlefield is not a vacuum. Every arrow drawn on a map in a command center is connected to a heart of a home, a factory, and a future. The core of this lesson is accountability. A commander's true duty isn't just to defeat the enemy's army, but to preserve their own nation's lifeblood. As Sun Tzu taught, the leader is the arbiter, the one who decides whether the state will emerge into a new peace or be consumed by a permanent peril. As of April 2026, the Russia-Ukraine war stands as a stark monument to the power of the arbiter. Take the strategy of national survival. In Kiev, the military leadership understands that their fate is tied to the moral law of the population. By late 2025 and into 2026, the decision to prioritize high-tech, long-range logistics skills over massive, high-casualty ground assaults was a choice made to save the state. By choosing a strategy that minimizes the draining of the exchequer and protects the civilian workforce, the Ukrainian leadership acts as an arbiter of a nation that remains economically viable under fire. Take the cost of the long campaign. On the other side of the line, the decision to move to a permanent war economy has fundamentally altered the fate of the Russian people. By April 2026, the military's demand for resources has caused a great shift in Russian society. High inflation, labor shortages in the peasantry, and heavy exactions on the state budget prove that the leader's tactical choices at the front have become a life-defining reality for families thousands of miles away. The military strategy has decided their fate, shifting a nation from a global player to a closed, war-focused society. Here is your final war tip for the 2026 landscape. Your reach extends far beyond the trench. The nation is the stake. A military failure is a national failure. Protect the state's substance. Swiftness is messy. Lengthy campaigns are a slow poison for the home population. And the leader is the anchor. Your strategy decides if the people live in peace or peril. In your own leadership, whether you are making decisions for a corporation, a community, or a country, ask yourself, are you looking only at the win, or are you looking at what will be left of your people once that win is achieved? Sun Tzu reminds us that the leader of armies is the man on whom it depends whether the nation will be in peace or in peril. As the smoke of 2026 continues to swirl, we see that the greatest victors are those who win in a way that allows their nation to flourish afterward.